Hey guys, this is Press here, and this week I'm going to be going over the best level 6 REQs to use in a sweaty game. So starting off with the armor mods, there's actually two this week I would highly recommend. So starting off with the first one is Advanced Sensors. Now Advanced Sensors is always what you always need to have on if you're on foot or if you're in a ground vehicle. Advanced Sensors is going to make your range of your radar go from 25 meters to 40 meters. It is going to make it so you can walk at full speed and you're not going to be on other people's radars. And it also is going to make it so that you can see other people, like even if they're crouching and moving, you're going to see them on your radar. So it is really overpowered, to be honest. Like that's why they moved it to level 6. Is this thing it's just going to make your radar amazing. And if you have the awareness to look at your radar, you're always going to be spotting people. No one's ever going to jump on your vehicle. If you're in like a tank or a wraith, you're just going to have such a huge like vision on your radar, and no one's ever going to be able to really sneak up onto you unless they have a camo. And that is my favorite armor mod in the game. The second armor mod that I highly recommend is Wheelman. Now this is a lot more situational, but it is required if you get into any aerial vehicle such as a Wasp, Banshee, or Phaeton. Like, not only is this going to give you more armor, but it's also going to prevent you from really getting hijacked when people noob combo you or like stun you or anything. Like, you're going to be able to get into the air a lot more quicker than if you didn't have Wheelman, and it's going to be really useful for those aerial vehicles. It is really required if you're in an aerial vehicle, because you know how annoying those noob combos can be in a sweaty game. Like, you must be using that for aerial vehicles. Now, before I move on, I know I've been getting a lot of comments on videos asking why I don't use Wheelman on my ground vehicles, and as I explained on Advanced Sensors, I like having that larger radius on my radar, and I also like it that how people can be like moving and they're going to pop up on my radar. So even a camo that's actually moving pretty quickly is going to show up on my radar, and there are going to be a lot less people that are able to hijack my, wraith or tank, and it's really useful. Now, you either want to decide between, do you want to get out of noob combos quicker, or do you want to have like less people hijacking your tanks and stuff? You got to decide between that, and I think the radar's better because I'm going to be seeing more people on my radar, in closer ranges, and I'm also going to have people not hijacking me as often. So you got to decide between those two. I prefer Advanced Sensors, but I guess Wheelman's still an option if you want to use that. Next, I'm going to move on to the loadout weapons. Now, my secondary, usually my SMG, that's not going to change. I still like using a silenced SMG, but my primary weapon, as everyone knows, and I've been spreading this to pretty much everyone in the Warzone community, you must be using that sound dampener BR. Now, I know a lot of people didn't really understand this REQ when it was released, but the good YouTuber Azoli, he was the one that spread a lot of awareness to what this actually did. Once I saw his video, I started telling all my friends in Dominated to use this because this thing is amazing. Basically, it's a silencer, which you know how much I love silencers. You're off the radar, you're quieter, and it also has a long barrel effect, which means long barrel, you're going to have your auto aim assist, at a farther distance. When your reticle goes red, you're going to have that at a farther distance when you're aimed down. So that's why I really love the sound dampener. It's just basically a jack of all trades. You get two really good attachments on one weapon. So that is my BR that I highly recommend at level 6 to anyone, no matter what the situation is. Pull that thing out at level 6, and then your secondary, I just said, I just like having a silenced SMG. That's my favorite secondary. Before I move on, I'm going to hurry and tell you guys that I prefer a BR over a DMR, so I'm not going to really be recommending these DMRs on this series, but go ahead and use a DMR if you prefer that. I feel like I win more fights with a BR, and I prefer it over a DMR. And this sums up the loadout weapons, and I'm going to move on to the REQs next. Starting off with vehicles, I'm going to start off with the Sword Banshee, and as we all know, Banshees are really good in Warzone, but it all depends on the pilot, on how long they're going to last and how much work they're going to do on the battlefield. So if you're a really good pilot, a Sword Banshee is a very solid option to pull at level 6. Just know that the end game is level 5 now, so those are going to be all over the battlefield. People are going to have whiplashes, and also the Sling's Lance, which I'll be talking about later in this video. That's also an option at level 6 too, so make sure you're a really good pilot in the Banshee, and you don't do really dumb moves with it, and you should be fine with it at level 6. Especially if you have multiple teammates call them in. It's going to be better with them in a herd than just by yourself. Next, I'm going to move on to a very situational REQ, and that is the Scorpion tank. Now, this thing is at its best when you're defending a core room on Assault or regular Warzone. So if you get pushed back that far and you get one on each side of the back core, it is going to do a lot of work in defending the core. Now, it also can do a lot of work in regular Warzone and do a lot of damage against bosses or even infantry on the ground, but I don't know. It's too slow. I feel like a Wraith can do a lot more damage at a lower REQ level, and I wouldn't recommend it too much, especially with end games and slings lances being a big thing in vehicles. You know, on a sweaty game, it's too slow, and I do not think it's versatile enough to use on a sweaty game. But some can get away with it. Now I'm going to move on to one of my all-time favorite wrecks and vehicles in the game, and that is the Temple Wraith. Now, as you guys all know, I love Wraiths, but the Temple Wraith, it is just so much greater than any other Wraith in the game. Like, this thing is going to do so much damage because of its upgrades. So basically, it's going to have twice as fast of a rate of fire with its main cannon. So the DPS of this cannon on bosses and just on people, like, you're going to be spewing out those mortar shots, and it's just going to be insane. Like, the DPS on this Wraith is crazy. But not only does it have that, it's a much faster Wraith and it has a longer boost. So you're going to be able to splatter people. Like, you know, I've been caught on a sword race so many times where I use all my boost up and then someone else gets on it. But you're not going to have that issue with the Temple Wraith. You're always going to have so much boost and charge left in it that you're always going to be splattering people. And it's just an awesome thing to have. Now, if you can actually coordinate having multiple people call in these Temple Wraiths, they can actually do a lot of damage on those high health bosses in a quick span of time. They can actually really catch the other team off guard and just really destroy the boss before they even contest it. That concludes the vehicle wrecks, and now I'm going to go on to the weapon wrecks, starting off with the Answer. We all love the Answer. It's a high capacity, highly deadly, explosive, saw that is just going to do insane amounts of DPS and damage to the other enemy team. The one flaw to it, though, is it's going to lose its 1v1 battles, so things like snipers, rockets, whiplashes, etc. But if you can get in the right positioning or get like a camo or like an OS, you can really make a push on an army or a fortress and just keep killing people. Like you're going to get at least like 10 to 15 kills if you stay alive with this thing, which you can't do with other wrecks because, they don't have as much ammo. This thing just has so much ammo that it's going to do a lot of amount of damage. And the other awesome thing about an Answer is it can also do a lot of damage to aerial vehicles. So if you see a Phaeton, a Wasp, or a Banshee, or even ground vehicles, I guess, you can do a lot of damage with them with that Answer because of the explosive rounds. So these things are very versatile wreck, but you got to play smart with it because you're going to lose your 1v1s to things that have a weight, like instant kill time. So you just got to play smart with it and maybe get a camo or an OS and then make your pushes. So that's definitely one of my favorite wrecks in the game. Next, I'm going to talk about the Halo 2 Alpha Beam Rifle, and this is a very niche weapon and not going to appeal to many people because I don't think sniping at level 6 is a very viable option. It's not too important. It's not going to help the team out too much. But if you appeal to this very small group of people on a sweaty game, then I think the Alpha Beam Rifle is by far the best option of sniping at level 6. And this is for many different reasons. The first reason, which is the most important, is it has 20 shots. All the other snipers have either 10 or 12 shots, but this thing has 20, so that's huge. Another huge advantage is this thing takes like 6 or like 7 shots to overheat when you're spamming it, so you can actually like destroy a Banshee or a Wasp with this if you keep spamming, which I think that's awesome. You're going to be able to destroy air support with it. Because of these two big reasons, you should not be pulling out any other sniper at level 6. This is the best sniper at level 6. But overall, I don't think you really should be pulling out a sniper at level 6. It's not going to be able to help you push up too much, and it's not really going to help you boss slay. But if you fall into that category that wants to snipe at level 6, this is the sniper you want to be using. Now I'm going to move on to the highly devastating SELENE'S Lance. This thing can come in handy in a lot of scenarios. If the other team is pulling out crazy high health vehicles such as an Oni tank, Hannibal Manus, Banshee Ultras, Phaeton Helixes, this is going to melt them. It's going to destroy those vehicles for you. And not only that, though, it's extremely punishing against AI and boss kills. So if you can coordinate with multiple teammates, you're going to be able to kill the most punishing bosses with these SELENE'S Lances if you call them in at the right time and catch the other team off guard. Overall, this is definitely going to be one of the best wrecks you can call at level 6, especially since they just bumped it down from level 7 to level 6, and it's just going to be able to do damage to anything on the map. Lastly, I'm going to be talking about the Prophet's Bane. Now, like everything else, it's very situational. But this thing is going to be crucial for holding down bases in crucial times. So say you're in a fortress and there's like 8 of them coming to your fortress and they're really trying to take the fortress back, or they're trying to take a garage or an armory back. If you can have someone really smart with this Prophet's Bane, hide in a corner, get an OS, and just hide and keep this base from getting capped, that is crucial. You can have so many other teammates not have to focus on worrying about that base when you have a Bane hiding in the right place. Now, not only that, though, if you have a really smart person with a Bane, they can go around the battlefield stealing other people's wrecks. They can steal those people's Nornfangs, steal lasers, steal whiplashes just by going around the field with that camo and slicing them and stealing that wreck. This is one of the best wrecks in the game by far. That concludes this week's video on the best level 6 recs to use. Now, remember to use these in smart combinations and have good pushes with your teammates. And I will see you next week on the best level 7 recs to use. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you then.